I'm the type of gamer that likes to play the game and watch the cutscenes, but not really read any files, or notes, or really look up any lore for that matter. So I had the brilliant idea to talk about the game's story from yours truly, from my point of view, because I pretty much have all the qualifications, am I right? I mean, I got the game, I beat it multiple times, and I have a YouTube channel. So here I am bringing you
Resident Evil 6.
Alright, so now it's time for Chris's campaign. And for this campaign, I have Flawless with me again since I got Leon's and Chris's done with her before she ghosted me, which I'm totally not salty at all about that. So this part 2 will be Chris and Jake's campaign since their backstories go hand in hand. We open up with Chris taking shots at a bar and I like where this is going.
Which was nice because the alcohol didn't even affect me.
The dude next to him says that it's hard to get a good steak. Like, okay, weirdo, I'm not ordering a steak at a bar. That sounds about as appealing as getting sushi at a gas station. The bartender cuts Chris off, and Chris says to just pour drinks and look pretty. She doesn't take too kindly to this and tells Chris to leave. And normally I'd be on the bartender's side, but she doesn't know the shit that Chris and I have seen. Chris doesn't leave, and then Baldy here tries to force Chris to leave. But yeah, good luck with that, man. Chris punches boulders for fun.
He asked you to leave.
The steak guy stops Chris from murdering this man and then says that his name is Pierce. Then Pierce decides to show Chris pics of BOWs and all the names of Chris's team that died under Chris's command. So I guess Pierce is part of the BSAA, and apparently so is everyone else in this bar, and they're all here to get Chris back in the field. And potentially could have been witnesses to Chris murdering a man, who knows. The next thing that we get, we're jumping out of a helicopter into a city that I'm not really too sure why we're here. I'm also not really too sure what's going on. We were just in a bar, and now we're jumping out of a helicopter. Flawless doesn't like the paparazzi much.
They got the fuck out of the way! I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!
So we run through a building until we get a cutscene of this generic ass enemy, so Flawless handles that. And then Pierce says that it seems like all of the training for Chris is kicking back in, but I don't really know what he's talking about since I was just slamming into a wall looking like the daintiest buff guy I've ever seen. And then this guy might have died in the coolest way possible. We then see another generic ass guy mutate a bit, but don't you guys worry because I missed just about every fucking shot in my clip. I gotta give him a chance, you know? We fight along some rooftops and do this, which is honestly a new life goal of mine to do. I'd be pulling that shit out like,
look what I can do.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
And then we get to this building called the Ace of Spades. Our objective here is to save all of the people on floors 1 and 7. And then we have to leave the building because it's about to get nuked. I have the hardest time finding the fucking staircase while Flawless just left me behind. But I eventually find my way, and then we find the people, but the guavo turn into spider people.
Like a spider monkey! Go on!
And so they're running around with the fucking bystanders on their back. We kill them all, save the people, escort them out, and then tell Control that we are Gucci. And then a random collapse closes our exit before we could get out. So Control has to find us another way out before we have our date with the nuke. We get out just in the nick of time, so a super cool explosion is behind us. Because you know, Resident Evil 6 is just the coolest fucking game ever made. The building gets nuked, and then Chris sees cocoon people, and that gives him some flashbacks of a guy reaching out for him. The next cutscene shows a point in time where Chris looks younger, so I'm guessing that this is in the past. Basically, he's just preaching like the king of trolls, saying,
No troll left behind!
They call the generic enemy guavo, you know, like guava, guava juice, giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake. But the male version, because, you know, yo soy muy español. We meet the rookie Finn, and he's super nervous since it's his first day on the job, kind of like a Leon back in the day. We get some gameplay, and we are in the middle of a huge firefight with the Guavo Juice clan, and we don't like all that sugar.
I bet if you let me inside your hard shell, I'd find a lump of soft meat. That came out wrong. Ow, please! Please, let's talk this out.
Once things settle down, my own NPCs decide it's time to stage a mutiny and run over the captain with a fucking jeep. I don't know, I thought I was doing a pretty good job as captain, but whatever. We carry on until this Titan looking thing spawns, and I don't even know how anything like this is even possible. This thing looks like it was born in a fucking football stadium. So we hold our own until a little tank comes in and scares the big baddie away.
I heard an accident.
I see Flawless doing this and I think it looks so fun, so I join her.
It looks like so much fun.
Anytime you want to.
We continue until we run into a train cart blocking our path. Finn, I guess, is a demolition guy, so he elects to blow up the path blocker for us. We just need to watch his back, which is super easy since I kind of found the spawn point for the guavo juice. So me and Flawless just spawn kill all of them. Finn blows up the train cart and we continue until we get to this bridge when it just randomly explodes for some reason. Chris climbs up, I swear to God it's a fucking negative angle, I don't really know. And then Finn saves us. Finn needs to do some first aid on a fellow soldier, so Chris allows it because
No troll left behind!
And then once Finn is done and helps the man get to safety, we blow up whatever structural integrity the guavo explosion initially missed, that way the guavo can't follow us. Then we see Sherry and Chris is all like, hey, you were in Raccoon City. And Sherry's all like, bitch, how do you know? And Chris is all like, because of Claire? And then Sherry puts two and two together that it's Chris. Since remember, Claire told Sherry when she was saving her in Resident Evil 2 that Claire was there looking for her brother, who is Chris. Pierce tells Chris that the man Sherry is with is a wanted insurgent. And thank God Sherry dumbs it down for me like I'm 7.
The man is a wanted insurgent.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Yes, he's a mercenary.
Oh.
Saying that he's a mercenary, yes, but that right now he's under protection by the US government. And also that the man is no threat to the BSAA. Then this dude opens his mouth for no fucking reason, like, unless someone pays me to be. For some reason trying to be a fucking tough guy, I don't really know why. No one gives a shit about this dude. And it looks like Sherry isn't really handling the situation very well, but just then another giant ass monster comes out and crashes the party. So our new objective is to handle the giant monster and eliminate the anti-air turrets. So this is another 4v1 scenario, kind of like in Leon's campaign, so I'm not going to go too in depth in this. We kill the first giant BOW for being tardy to the party, and then I decide to bathe in his blood because I'm a fucking savage. We blow up the first turret and then the second turret, and then the second giant lipless monster comes in. We kill him and then bathe in his blood as well, just so we could assert some dominance. And then we take out the third turret and Jake and Sherry leave. Before they leave, Chris asks if he's seen Jake before. Jake says that all the jarheads look the same, which I swear to God, it has to be racist.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
We then enter this building with all these cocoons and we run into a new enemy, a fucking gorilla looking thing of all things. We then run into blue dress Ada, who we know, if you've seen my part 1, isn't really Ada. She talks about the C virus and Neo Umbrella and then decides to tag along with us. A second new enemy approaches and it looks like a lizard had sex with a spitting dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
Oh, you're not so scary, little guy.
We get near the exit and Chris and Piers get separated from the rest of the soldiers by a gate. They notice that Ada is missing and oh look, there she is on the other end of the room. And oh shit, she throws an exploding needle ball where the soldiers are and now they're all turning into cocoons. And this is the flashback that Chris was getting in the opening cutscene. They all turn into gorillas and Chris can't seem to pull the trigger. Because remember, we liked Finn, he was our rookie. He's definitely better than Helena for sure. So Chris is all like, and takes some hits that realistically should have killed him or broken his ribs or something. But Piers pulls Chris out and now we know why Chris wanted to kill Ada in part 1. We flash back to the wait, no, hold on. We flash back, we're not flashing back, we flash forward? Yeah, we flash forward. So we flash forward to the present day, watching the soldiers burn the remains of the explosion. Chris is sitting there and asks what happened to Ada, and Piers tells him that she's leading Neo Umbrella and then almost starts monologuing until Chris tells him to shut the fuck up.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
Then Chris asks if she's in the city. Pierce says yes, so now we're on the hunt for Ada. Not long after that, it looks like they added the giant snake from Resident Evil 1, which they already used the Resident Evil 1 animal with the shark in Leon's campaign, so now they're just fucking recycling shit from the first game at this point. But anyways, this time they made the snake invisible, ooh. So we keep going through the building until we see Jake and Sherry, and Pierce is surprised that they're alive since they've been missing since we last saw them in that flashback like 6 months ago. And I also don't know how you train a guavo to fly an armored helicopter, but this guy sure as shit learned. So we shoot at the helicopter while it shoots at Jake and Sherry, and we do this until the chopper turns its attention to us. And I guess Flawless shot at it just enough because I didn't fire a single bullet. She kind of just carries me through this game at this point.
Hey, Birdie. It's okay, Birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, Birdie. Okay?
And then we get a cutscene showing the helicopter crashing and then see Chris and Jake staring at each other rather intimately, but we let them go since our mission is to technically stop the BOWs, not chase Jake and Sherry, even if Pierce really wants to chase them. We see that the snake found the new little play toy and Chris chases after it but loses it. Pierce yells at Chris for the reckless move and Chris is all like, bro, you better stay in your fucking lane.
I need soldiers! I don't need anybody else but soldiers!
Pierce really has no choice but to comply, and then the snake comes through again and pretty much wipes out all of our squad, and we play a little cat and mouse game with the snake until it decides to stay and fight. We have a fight almost as intense as Harry Potter, but instead of Harry, we have Chris, and instead of a sword, we have guns and electricity. We electrocute the snake to death, and then I get a little dose of what the snake got because I'm a freaky little fuck. We enter the next room and Pierce starts yelling at Chris again about them needing to leave, and then Ada just comes in and shoots this guy in the neck and takes off. And then he turns into a fucking bee of all things. So now we have humans turning into gorillas, giant lizards, and bee drills. So now we have no choice but to kill the queen bee, so now it seems like it's just Chris and Pierce. We start to leave the building and Chris and Pierce have a little lover's quarrel, and then Pierce says that Chris is a sorry excuse for the legend that was Chris Redfield. Chris is all like, fuck this noise, I'm after Ada. And Pierce chooses to go with him to quote unquote watch him, I guess. Then we jump along some boats, get sniped, get chased by a helicopter with this stupid fucking camera angle that confuses me so badly I almost ran towards the missile shooting helicopter. We continue boat hopping, get to a building, and then we hunker down to take this bitch out. And once again, I swear Flawless is doing all the work here.
I'm gonna take care of you, Birdie.
I'm just out here chilling like,
Wasting my nights, you turned out the lights. My chain has failed on you.
we run into Ada and Chris doesn't even breathe before he starts shooting at her. She ziplines away and oh hey look, it's the same hallway that we were with Leon. I do the same super cool slide under the death laser, and then we get to the elevator. We enter what I'm guessing is the other side of Leon with the Roomba bombs. I cover Flawless while she gets the door unlocked and we finally catch Ada. And it's the same cutscene as Leon. Chris find Ada, Leon slap Chris, Leon fight Chris, Leon says Chris, Chris says Leon, Chris lost man, Leon lost Prezi, Ava gets away, Leon asks Chris no shoot Ada, Chris say maybe shoot Ada, and now we have insight to why Chris is wanting to kill Ada. And it honestly kind of tickles my bottom that Chris wouldn't listen to anything Pierce had to say, and yet here he is listening to Leon. I just love the amount of respect that Leon is getting in this game since we all know I'm an OG Leon fangirl. We go outside and find a Jeep and then we have a little Fast and Furious car chase with Ada, which honestly this part doesn't really feel like Resident Evil anymore. I don't really know what this is. I mean, just look at this. What about this is scary besides Flawless's driving? Oh shit, now we're swapping spots. Well...
Time to put your mouth where our balls are.
And bro, my driving is a fucking plus. I'm telling you guys, I can do everything out here. You need me to shoot? I got you. You need me to drive? I got you. You need me to jump a Jeep that rolls the vehicle, throwing us out the Jeep and yet still surviving? I got you. Which if I'm keeping track, this is now the second vehicle I have flipped, with the last one being Leon flipping the cop car. We passed out but wake up in some type of cargo hangar on a boat surrounded by enemies. We see Ada in the distance leaving the area, so now we have an idea of where we need to go. go. But just then, this guy pulls a cronk and pulls the lever which raises the staircase that we needed to go up, as well as closes a shutter door over the door that we needed to go through. So we go up an alternate route and do that super cool thing that I want to do eventually in real life while getting shot at this time. I'm not too sure if I could do that part in real life, but I'll give it a shot. Fuck it. Life sucks anyway. I hotwire this rocket and blast a hole in the shutter door, and then we eventually get to the lever.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Which lowers the staircase that we needed. We leave the control center and a fucking jet appears, just to shoot at us. Once again, not really scary, kinda random. But hey, it's Resident Evil 6. And then after damn near 20 minutes of running back and forth in this area, we finally get out to hear Ada talking over the intercom. And I honestly have no fucking idea what she's talking about. Kinda sounds like she's just talking shit to Simmons and saying that she's gonna change the world tomorrow, but doesn't really give us a specific time, so I'm not too sure when I should set my alarm.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
We see Ada, but this time in red. And while Flawless opens the door, I try to break through the window, but I swear to God, it is harder to break through a window than it looks.
Boat with a bottle? Any idiot can hit a boat with a bottle. Well, I've heard it's harder than it looks.
We go through what seems like the entire fucking crew trying to catch up to Ada, and when we finally do, she just talks her shit and then Chris shoots the C-Virus gun out of her hand. She then says that an aircraft carrier is preparing for launch and that will infect the world. And then a random ass helicopter comes out and this guy shoots fake Ada and just leaves. Ada, for some reason, instead of falling forward just, on the ground in front of her, she decides to fall off the ledge instead. That fucking dramatic ass, Jesus Christ. Piers picks up a little C-Virus vial that Ada dropped. Control confirms that there are in fact aircraft carriers preparing to launch nearby us. So our new objective is to stop the aircrafts from leaving. But first, we need to grab the same 3 keys that Ada had to get in her campaign. So we grab the first one and then we run into this thing that I swear has more of a straightforward approach to spawning babies than xenomorphs. We find key number 2 and then key number 3, and then we get the door open. We find a jet that we take to a nearby ship, and then this part once again takes me out of the Resident Evil experience. Do you guys remember in Resident Evil 1 when we were just in the mansion, or in 2 or 3 when we were in Raccoon City just, surrounded by zombies just trying to survive? Well, now we're barrel rolling in a jet, shooting at a boat, trying to stop a missile full of C-Virus from infecting an entire city. Man, I don't know where my Resident Evil's gone.
Country down.
Piers gets down to manually stop the missile from launching, so we provide cover for Flawless. And just when you think Resident Evil couldn't get more ridiculous, out comes one of those giant no-lip BOWs. And I swear this thing spawns out of fucking nowhere like...
No, probably.
So now I have to shoot that, and thank God Flawless stopped the missiles. But honestly, I'm just gonna flex a little bit because you guys see I'm not completely useless. I promise I could be a good teammate sometimes. I pick her up in the foreign for our date, which includes but isn't limited to blowing up a giant BOW. The nuke, for some reason I do not know why, gets reactivated, and then for some other reason we get a scene of a second random ass missile coming and hitting the boat, and then the virus missile being launched anyway. So I'm guessing we kind of failed? Oh yeah, we definitely failed. It wasn't for lack of effort though, that's for fucking sure. So we're just talking to Leon, same as in his campaign. So I'm gonna shorten this down like I always do. Chris call Leon, Leon tell Chris, save Jake and Sherry. Then Leon tell Chris again, Jake Wesker's son. But Chris killed Wesker. Leon tell Chris, Jake cure for virus. Chris say, okie dokie. Then Chris tell Leon Ada's dead. Leon like, no! Then we're off to go and find Jake and Sherry. We get to an oil rig, and on the way down the elevator, Piers says what we're all thinking.
There's irony for you. A man who spent his entire life trying to destroy the world, and now his son is the only one who can save it.
Chris tells Piers that after this mission that Chris is going to retire, and that he would be honored if Piers took his place. But we all know that doesn't really happen since Chris is in Resident Evil 8. Spoiler, I know, but shit man, Resident Evil 8 has been out for years now. We get into a room that looks like we could release Jake and Sherry, but when Chris tries to, the alarms go off. We think we know where Jake and Sherry are, so now we're just doing a good old-fashioned prison escape. This room has special BOWs spawning if we pull the levers. So theoretically, we could just not pull the levers and not have to deal with all the enemies.
'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby.
We kill all of the guys in the area, and then the next area we run into Jake and Sherry. Now, I don't know why, but Chris literally opens with,
I can see your father in you.
Ha! Gay!
Jake is all like, you knew him? Chris says, yeah, actually, I'm the one that killed him. I'm not even fucking playing, Chris says that. Jake pulls his gun on Chris and Pierce pulls his gun on Jake. Chris tells Pierce to put his gun down and that it's between Chris and Jake. Pierce looks at him like, are you fucking dumb? Which is what I fucking thought, bro. What the fuck you doing, Chris? And Jake asks Chris if it was orders or personal. Chris is like, it was a little bit of both. Because, I mean, your dad did betray stars in Resident Evil 1 and then kind of went cuckoo cuckoo in Resident Evil 5 with the whole God complex world domination thing. So Jake shoots right next to Chris's head, saying that there's more important things at stake right now. We then notice that this place is like one really weird, inconvenient elevator. We go up and then sideways and up, then sideways again, all while shooting guys. Once we get near the top, this fucking thing spawns, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite looking boss of the entire game. I don't know why, I just think it looks dope as fuck. It's like a weird skeleton, squid, kraken thing, I don't know, man.
Release the Kraken!
Sherry wants to help Chris, but Jake says that they got a job to finish. Then a cringy ass little nod of approval between Jake and Chris happens. It's as if they suddenly approve of each other after a whopping 2 minutes of talking about killing Jake's dad. I don't really get it, but we climb this ladder away from the transparent sea monster. And I mean, man, just look at this thing. Fucking beautiful. And I mean, it 100% beats Simmons turning into a fucking T-Rex or a giant fly, that's for sure. We ride the elevator up, and of course this room has a hole in the floor, so this thing could be the center of attention. During our firefight, the place just randomly starts to collapse. And I don't know how, but I kind of lost the monster. I seem to have misplaced the Kraken.
We misplaced your baby.
We walk away and see bubbles in the water, so I'm guessing it's still in the water. Then we slide under some emergency doors, and Chris Superman Redfield prevents this door from closing with nothing but his pure manliness. So Pierce makes it through, and then we get this shitty ass angle again. I don't know why they keep fucking doing this, but we see the monster behind us giving chase. We slide to the next door, and then the Kraken is all like, not so fast, bitch. It grabs Pierce and throws him to the side, resulting in Pierce pretty much losing his arm, so now he's a lefty. He also drops the sea virus that he had on him, and he sees that Chris is now being grabbed by the monster. And instead of squeezing Chris like a bottle of toothpaste, the monster just kind of holds him.
Wait, that just want to hold you.
Pierce gets to the dropped sea virus and injects himself, and for some reason he gets to be Raiden and shoot lightning out of his arm. This boss fight is essentially just flawless electrocuting the monster and me stabbing its hearts. Although we are in ankle deep water, and I'm not too sure how the electricity isn't just frying all of us.
Wait, did you say are or aren't?
R.
We got some selective lightning, which I swear once again sounds racist. Flawless goes down, so I stab some health into her like,
Give me the shot.
we just rinse and repeat until we stab the last heart and put this thing down for good. Pierce is like, bro, I am so fucked, you gotta go. But remember, Chris is Mr.
No troll left behind!
So we bring Piers along with us because Chris is nice like that. The place is crumbling apart, but before we get to the escape pod, it seems like the final stages of Piers's transformation are almost done. Chris lifts him to an escape pod, but Piers rejects his help and pushes him into the pod and releases the pod, all while Chris is pleading for Piers not to do it. Our escape pod is escaping, but just then the Kraken grabs onto our pod because I guess it's still alive because once again, Resident Evil 6, and I can never tell when something is really actually dead, but an electric shock shoots out of the collapsing Rapture and obliterates the monster. So this is what confuses me. Simmons, you know, the main villain in Leon's campaign, he seemed to be in control of his humanity when he got infected. So was Piers able to hang on to his humanity? And if he went with Chris, how effective is this cure that they made? Because if Piers is able to hang on to his humanity and they have a cure, Piers could have just came with Chris and they could have fixed him. Then again, I'm pretty sure that they don't know they have a cure yet, but still, I feel like this sacrifice could have been avoided if Piers just went with him. And then if he did get cured, is it going to remove the infected arm and he still just has one arm? Kind of like the Lizard Man in the Amazing Spider-Man 2? Or will his right hand grow back to normal?
Man, so many unanswered questions.
But Chris gets topside and sees that Piers actually gave Chris his BSAA emblem. Some real heartbreaking shit, I'll tell you what. But I'm emotionless, so I feel nothing. Next cutscene shows Chris at the same bar where Piers found him, and now Chris is eating a steak. Just like Piers when they first met. A random soldier comes in and tells Chris that they have new orders, and Chris is all like,
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Then some real American hero music plays, and that's the end of Chris's campaign. And then just like in my part 1, there's gonna be no intermissions. We are gonna jump right into Jake's Jake's campaign. Alright, so starting Jake's campaign with him and quite literally everyone in his squad juicing up. But it's not affecting Jake quite like it's affecting the rest of his team. And we all know by now that Jake has the antibodies in his blood. He does some quick Thanos jabs and then Sherry comes in asking if he took the dose. And that's how we find out that he has the antibodies, even though we already played Leon and Chris's campaign, so we already knew that. Oh, and then for some reason Blue Ada is there, I'm not really too sure why. But Jake and Sherry escape Jake's crew by going down this garbage chute, and this time I have Kool-Aid playing with me. I know, I jump partners like crazy, and I swear I'm not poly or a swinger or anything like that, but again, Flawless left me hanging for about 2 months, which is part of the reason why it took me so long to get this video out. But anyways, back to the story, and as usual with this game, everything is just going to shit. We get to a point where Jake asks for $200,000 up front and then another $200,000 after. Sherry says that she isn't here for his expertise. He's all like, wait, you don't want me to kill someone? And she's like, no bitch, I'm here because your blood is the antivirus to the C virus that's causing the world to go to shit. So I'm over here thinking, shit Jake, you better make it a Billy then. But Jake says 50 million and I'm like, bro, really? You can literally save the entire world with this. You could get way more than that. But we carry along this cliffside until I fucking German suplex this guy. That's right, I still remember my WWE days, don't worry. We get a sneak peek of Jake's main enemy here and it starts to beeline it right towards us. It sees Jake and is all like, oh yeah, it's fucking game time. Jake thinks he's super cool and shoots the barrel next to the monster, but it does quite literally nothing but piss it off even more. Once again, shit ass camera angle, and then we spear Sherry off of a rope that she's dangling on into a window to escape the monster for now. In this building, we run into some guys, and right before we're about to leave, Leatherface comes out. So now we have to stand our ground.
He was on my ground. You all saw that, right?
It's a good thing I have unlimited ammo, am I right? I noticed that this guy is fucking dead set on attacking me, just me. Kool-Aid could be slapping his dick against the monster's calf muscle and he wouldn't even care. The floor collapses and Jake takes this opportunity to tell us about his past and how he almost died due to a knife. And Sherry's all like, why the fuck are you telling me this? And Jake is all like, because dying by a knife is the worst way to go. Like, okay weirdo, thanks for the random fun fact. And then he asks what the monster wants with him. Sherry says that the monster is under control of Neo Umbrella and it's literally there to get Jake since he's the cure. But more importantly, it's here because Capcom had to make Jake important somehow. We then run into Chris and get the same cutscene that was in Chris's campaign. So let's dumb this down again. Chris like, Sherry? Sherry like, who you? Chris say, Claire. Sherry say, Chris? Pierce says, he a mercenary. Sherry say, Jake no threat. Jake say, unless someone pay me. Pierce no likey Jake. Then we do the same thing that we did in Chris's campaign and kill the 2 giant BOWs and take care of the 3 anti-air guns. And then I once again have to bathe in the blood of my enemy. Kool-Aid for some reason isn't following the rest of us and gets killed in an area that I can't backtrack to save him. And our spawn point is literally the end of the level. So way to go on that one. Kool-Aid couldn't last another 30 seconds, huh?
That's what she said.
And then we leave Chris and Piers. In the chopper, Sherry is telling her boss that Jake wants his moolah, and of course they agree to it. I'm telling you, I don't know why he didn't ask for like $1 billion or something. It's to literally save the planet, Jake. Ask for more. Then Jake brings up Chris for literally no reason. The conversation seriously goes, so Chris, huh? What about him? Nothing. And that's it. Just keep that shit to yourself, Jacob. The next thing that I know, Leatherface is grabbing me in a way that I don't consent to.
Oh Lord, help me!
And then we jump from one chopper to the next since ours is on fire. And then this fucking monster hitches a ride with a nearby copper. Like, what the fuck is going on? It just makes sense because Resident Evil 6. So we get on some turrets and spray him and he's shooting a fucking rocket at us. I run away like there's somewhere for me to fucking go in this helicopter, as if running to the front of the helicopter is gonna stop the rocket from blowing me up. Kool-Aid shoots the rocket midair and I'm all like, oh, actually that's a good fucking idea. Why didn't I think of that? But their helicopter crashes into ours and right when we're about to fall out, a parachute passes us, thank God. And yeah, I actually missed the cutie. You see that red? Yeah, that's a miss. I probably died. But I guess Kool-Aid got it, or maybe the game was being nice to me, I don't know, but we're able to parachute away, thank God. We start chapter 2 off with Jake taking a nap and Sherry napping on top of Jake. Jake notices blood and holy shit, I think Sherry has something in her back. She's all like, is it bad? He's like, nah, it's not bad, nothing a little band-aid can't fix. She tells Jake to pull it out and he says, okay, sure. And then Sherry fucking heals. She doesn't tell us why she can heal, but I'm thinking it's because she was infected and in Resident Evil 2, but remember, Claire gave her the cure. So I'm thinking maybe they gave her some type of healing properties. Jake is all like, well shit, are you sure you're not the cure? Sherry's all like, nah, they already tested my blood. And then she starts to freak out because the data on Jake's blood is gone.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
And that's kind of important because remember, we need the vaccine. Although I don't know why they can't just take another blood sample from Jake. And then we start my least favorite level in this whole damn game. It's cold, it's windy, it's snowy, and it's dark. They just made this level fucking miserable. We gotta find all 3 data parts and then we'll go into this nearby cabin for shelter. Kool-Aid is talking about fuck if I know, so I give him the old I'm not listening response any good boyfriend / husband gives. True. True. I run around and find the first data part, then we get to this point where it's so fucking snowstormy that I don't even know where I'm at right now. I almost fall off this cliff, but thank God for invisible walls. Kool-Aid finds the second data piece, and then he finds the third data piece while I find a snowmobile. And then a crazy snowmobile accident happens. I don't really know how, but this one just kind of explodes. So now there's only one snowmobile left. And low-key, I'm just trying to leave Kool-Aid stranded. Who needs Sherry anyway, am I right? After about 20 minutes of being lost and just running around in this snowstorm, we finally get to the cabin.
Big summer blowout?
And then it's some real awkward standing and staring, and Sherry has had enough of it, so she decides to try to leave the fucking cabin. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Jake stops her as the storm pretty much blows her back into the cabin. Then after some more awkwardness, Jake stares out the window as if he's in some deep thought.
My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all.
I don't think there's one cog turning in that brain of his, but he sees Sherry sitting like a depressed child, so he decides to chit-chat. He brings up the healing factor, which makes Sherry talk about Resident Evil 2, and I was right. She was infected, got the cure, and then the virus adapted and gave her Deadpool healing properties, apparently.
Wow. Look at that. All right. I'll go get it. There we go. No, that's not right. What the hell? God, now it's upside down. There she is.
Jake asks what happened to her dad, and we all know what happened to that guy. Sherry says that Leon and Claire were the closest friends that she's ever had, and I don't really think they're as close as she thinks they are. Leon didn't even bring her up once in Resident Evil 4, and I haven't seen Claire in fucking years, but I'm glad they really hold a special place in her heart, and she just wants to make them proud. You know, follow their examples of never giving up and shit. For some reason, this puts Jake in the mood and he jumps on her. Nah, just kidding. They're actually getting shot at right after this. We kill all of the guys, and then fuck, there are 2 snowmobiles. No! I gas it, all pedal, no brake, and then I fall off the edge. Oh, no, wait, it was actually Kool-Aid's slow ass behind me. We respawn and I once again just gas it. And I don't really know what happens, but I get got by the avalanche because for some reason it caught up to me even though I was flooring it. And then look at this shit, like what is going on, man? What's happening? What was Capcom thinking? Anyways, I have a little heart attack. Ah, no! Okay. And then we do a super cool action jump, and then we end up in a cave. We get to this room where Leatherface is just kind of,
He's just standing there, menacingly!
I guess these little flying bug things alert him when they see someone, so game plan is to just avoid them. Or, you know, we become like this guy. An icicle falls and alerts them, and Sherry, fucking do better!
They can still see you. They can't see me. I can't see them.
Kool-Aid gets caught in the next section, so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh bro, you're fucked, but I should be good. Oh, he did go for me. What the fuck? That's some BS. Well, now we know, right? I didn't think he'd go after me because I'm all like, oh, I didn't trigger the warning. Kool-Aid did. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. I blame Kool-Aid for that one. Next time around, for some reason, Jake did some super cool parkour shit that I did not intend to do. So we get caught, but this time I hide, although apparently the garbage truck hasn't come through and ruins my attempt at hiding. So I react accordingly. Ah! Then I tell Kool-Aid to move his ass over. And the dude runs right past us and we escape. Just for this fucker to bust through the wall. Kool-Aid gets drilled, so we try again and I fuck up the slide. Bro! No! We make it to the next area and the dude is just standing there again. So we have to avoid the glass or crystals or whatever is on the ground. Then we have to get behind him to grab a key card. So I watched Kool-Aid do literally all the sneaky shit. Since you know your boy isn't very good at stealth parts. I admit my flaws. He gets the key card behind the monster and we escape the room. The next part is kind of stupid. We have to turn the wheels to open the door while the monster is chasing after us. And there's like 4 or 5 doors just back to back to back to back to back to back. It's a very unnecessary amount of doors. But this last door is a slow turner like Timmy. And I see him banging on the back door, so I'm screaming, "Oh, oh no! Oh no! They're coming in through the back door! Oh no! Oh no!" We find a giant drill and decide to fight the monster with it, and then once again we have a shit ton of unnecessary amount of clashes. We finally put him through a cave wall and Sherry's dumbass is all like,
We did it. We beat him.
Oh my god, it must be nice to be in your first Resident Evil game. You know, thinking something is dead that easily. In a Resident Evil game? Girl, you're crazy, dude. We get outside and get shot at, then surprise, surprise, Leatherface Goonie monster comes out and bitch slaps the fuck out of Sherry like, "Biscuit off me." It then says the same to Jake, steps on Jake, and then Blue Ada shows up. Ada gives Jake a little Ancestry.com lesson saying how he's Wesker's son, and Jake is all like, "Who, me?" And Ada basically says Wesker was an idiot and tried to take over the world. And since Jake is his son, Jake has very special blood. But all I could think of is, who fucked Wesker? I thought my guy Wesker was too good for women. Either that or he was gay or something. I don't know, he rejected Ada in Resident Evil 4, and then he rejected Excella's fine ass in Resident Evil 5. So I personally want to know where the mother is, man. Like, does Mori do this or is it only for fathers only? But anyways, we get captured. We wake up in an aggressively white room by 3 guards. And I'm thinking there is no way that 3 guards are going to be able to handle Jake. I already know he's going to do some crazy shit, which he does. It turns out to be some cool little breakdancing moves on one guy, and then for some reason the other 2 guys just aren't shooting their guns for some reason. I don't know, maybe they want Jake alive so they don't want to shoot. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess I don't really know why they didn't shoot Jake. But we kill all the guys that have guns with our fists. Yeah, I know, make that make sense. But we turn off the power to the area and then we see that Sherry is in her own room. She gets one of the guys with the stun rod, says, "Gimme that," and then shocks him to escape. So now it's a fucking prison break. I get 4 guys on this lower ledge and I'm daring them to come up so we can reenact this song.
4 big guys, and they bust on my eyes. They eat my ass just like apple pie. If they keep fucking me like this, I might just die. They pipe my booty till I cry.
The next area, we need a key passcode to open up the door, but the problem is, Kool-Aid needs to find it. He needs to find the passcode, enter it on his side, and then we use a camera to memorize the code that he inputted, and then we have to put it on our door. Kool-Aid gets fucking lost, so I just sit here and try to guess and check the solution. It fucking takes me forever, but don't worry everybody, I did not get it. Kool-Aid eventually found his after like 30 minutes of this. We get into the same room as Sherry and oh my god, Sherry, what the fuck, dude, okay. I can't tell if Jake is checking her out or looking for a scar. And thank god it didn't go any lower, because if it did and they put back dimples on her.
There are 3 things I love in this world. Kylie Minogue, small dimples just above a woman's buttocks.
Beautiful features.
She might pass Sheva as my #1 Resident Evil girl. But that's okay, Sheva, you're still #1 for now. And shit, I know Jacob has back dimples, that fucking snack of a man. Jake says that they were trying to use his antibodies to make the C virus stronger, and that now they're in China.
Take chow down to Chinatown.
Then asks if Sherry has heard of a Wesker. She's about as good at lying as Nick is in New Girl.
You fold like a lawn chair. Fold. Fold. Yes, you fold.
Winston told me Cece and Schmidt are sleeping together. Come on, man. What?
And then Jake is pissed because Deer's dad was a murderous psychopath intent on world domination. You know, just a tad bit worse than a deadbeat. I mean, at least he had goals. So now Jake is all like, oh my gosh, what if his crazy passed on to me? Now it makes sense why I'm a mercenary, duh. Sherry, in a moment of compassion and empathy, tells Jake to man the fuck up and take responsibility for his own actions.
Then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together.
We get swarmed by guys again, and I take time to appreciate this guy's suit. What's a nice suit? We jump over this railing for absolutely no reason at all, pop some pills into Kool-Aid's mouth, hit a gong, stab Kool-Aid this time for not appreciating the pills, play the piano. Oh, damn, Jake. Fucking killed it. Get enough of these little medallion coin things to put into this statue's coin slot to rotate it 90 degrees. That opens up a new area that has all of the surveillance cameras. Sherry uploads Jake's blood information to somewhere. Apparently she's cool just plugging in the USB into random ass computers and uploading things to her super secret boss. She calls her boss to tell him that we're in China, and he's all like, "Aw shit, I'm here too." So Sherry tells Jake that it's over and they're safe now. But remember when she thought Leatherface was dead and then he came back and slapped her into next Tuesday? Well, yeah, fucking Tank busts through the goddamn door as if he's just trying to find a parking spot.
Can't park there, asshole! Fuck off, idiot! Park there, loser! Surely you got something fucking better than that! You can't park there! Fuck off! Park there, imbecile! Park there, you dog! Why can't someone fucking help me?
We have another one of my all-time favorite camera angles, and I mean, man, I just fucking love this. But we escape the tank. Oh my god. Well, oh wait, never mind. Jake does some gymnastic shit to get across the tank into this area with some nice ass cars, which I take my time to shoot them on accident. We take the motorcycle and decide to go up against a fucking tank for some reason. We end up going past it and do a sweet ass jump into an open road. I honestly have no idea where this place was located. What the fuck? How is there just a road in the backyard? We are riding on our little bicicletas.
Do you ride your tiny bicicleta?
And then a helicopter starts to chase us. And yeah, man, just tell me that this just screams Resident Evil. Remember when we were all about zombies and horror? Now we have shit like this. Seriously, Capcom, what the fuck were you thinking? Well shit, at least that was realistic. Actually, that's not even realistic. Look, I crash on the right hand side, but for some reason during the death cutscene, I'm on the left hand side. Capcom couldn't even get that right. We have more ridiculous shit happening. Kool-Aid makes this sound. Sherry falls off the bike, lands on the side of a fucking helicopter, and then Jake catches her just in time as she falls. We slide under a truck, and if you had to guess what kind of truck it was, that's right, a gasoline truck. Bro, seriously, why didn't no one at Capcom stop and say, hey, maybe, just maybe, we've lost our way just a tad bit? But no, they just kept on going on with more ridiculous bike versus helicopter shit, and I swear to God, I cannot make this up. Because, you know, since the guns on a helicopter aren't really doing anything to us, the pilot decides to shoot a car-carrying semi-truck that releases the cars at us.
Country down!
We dodge all the cars, drive up the semi-ramp, jump over the helicopter, and then the bike explodes. We see Chris in the distance on some rooftops, so we start shooting at the guys while Chris's team takes on the helicopter. These guys get a new ostrich-looking transformation, and then we just hang around a bit and shoot at the helicopter until it explodes. Chris stares at Jake, Jake stares at Chris, and Sherry stares at Jake like that one meme. We go through the shopping district until we run into this game's version of the chainsaw person, the same one that was in Ada's. And boy, what an entrance it makes. And then for some reason, once again, I don't know why, but Capcom decides they wanted to have a ring of fire.
The Ring of Fire!
Kool-Aid says,
If we were alive, we would have died.
Bro, speak for yourself. I fight chainsaw wielding people in rings of fire all the time. We get past the chainsaw thing and then run into Leon. It's the same cutscene as Leon, so let's dumb this down again. Sherry yell, Leon? Leon say, Sherry? Leon ask, why you here? Sherry say, I'm official. Sherry ask, why you here? Leon say, Simmons bad. Sherry say, Simmons no bad. Simmons my boss. Leon ask, where is he? Sherry's like, Leon walk forward. Jealous Jake push Leon. Helena stay ready. Jake say, no touchy. Sherry say, Leon touchy. Jake say, we both touchy. Monster come, throw airplane part, Leon too slow, Jake saves Sherry, Leon and Jake bond, and fight time. I take this game so seriously that I literally spend this entire fight lying down and rolling to the side whenever he charges me. I'm not even joking, look at this. I get up to turn this forklift on and this bitch fucking kicks me. Then I'm eating my fucking salad and this guy rudely interrupts. My salad is delicious, oh, thank you. We get past bad plastic surgery patient and get separated from Leon. Sherry takes some time to reflect about Simmons and Jake says that she's gonna be fine. But what he doesn't know is that Simmons is an angry little T-Rex. Then guess who comes back? Nope, not Leatherface or Simmons, but the fucking chainsaw thing. We're on a boat and crash, which is super unrealistic because I have my boater's license. We dock and have a fight with the chainsaw monster again. It falls into the water and then a sign falls on it. Sherry says,
I think he's dead.
Bitch, can you stop saying this shit out loud? Have you not learned your lesson with fucking Leatherface and the tank? Like, Jesus Christ, you think she would learn her lesson? So we get on a different boat and Kool-Aid goes back on his rant saying,
Not dead, but then seriously injured.
And then we see a light in the water and Kool-Aid says,
Oh, we gotta deal with a fish now.
Yeah, a fish with a fucking chainsaw. Thanks, Sherry, for speaking this into existence. Someone shoots some steel beams above the chainsaw fish to possibly kill it. I seriously don't know when anything is dead anymore, and apparently neither does fucking Sherry. We finally dock and oh my god, bro, I am so sick of this thing, seriously. We see Red Ada swing in like George of the Jungle to save Sherry on the boat, and the chainsaw monster runs into a spinning chainsaw blade. So once again, I think it's dead, but I'm not really too sure. Sherry gets a call from her boss and we head out to meet him. Right before we meet up with him, however, Sherry tells Jake that if Leon is right about Simmons, then Jake needs to get out of here! We open the door and get the same cutscene as Leon, so once again, here we go. Simmons like, arrest them. Sherry's like, is it true? Simmons like, yes, I'm bad guy, kill them. Pew pew pew, we hide. Jake asks Leon what's the plan. Jake's like, let's pew pew them. Leon's like, no, you save Sherry. Sherry give Leon Jake's info, more pew pew pew. Guys swarm us. Sherry tell Jake to leave, says that he promised to. Get out of here! Jake's like, I lied. Nani? Guys grab Sherry. Jake's like, no touchy. Guys don't care. Then guys touchy Jake. We wake up captured once again, and Sherry apologizes for trusting Simmons, and Jake is oddly sympathetic towards her, which I was not expecting. Some alarms go off and we just randomly get released from our bondage. We see our gear and a way out, but Kool-Aid says,
the rats.
What? We lift Kool-Aid up to the air duct and then he falls from the air duct and says, I'm all right. Trust me, Sherry, I was not worried in the slightest. I've seen you with a giant piece of metal through your back. I'm sure this 10-foot fall is fine. Kool-Aid gets us out of our cell and then we get on the most pointless elevator ride ever. Once again, I'm not too sure who thought of this, but we have to go through certain doors to turn on power to other things that you more than likely probably don't care about. One of the monsters gets to Kool-Aid and I guess Sherry's regenerative abilities don't prevent her from spawning baby monsters. Our elevator malfunctions and I have no idea how we didn't fall into the pits of hell. And then once again, Capcom outdoes itself and adds this unnecessary part where we're about to become pancakes, but of course we make it just in the nick of time for it to squish the monster that was behind us and not us. We carry on and run into Chris and the same cutscene as Chris's campaign. Chris is like,
I can see your father in you.
Ah, gay!
Jake says, you knew Pa? Chris says, I killed Pa. Now Chris is 2000's Nelly. Jake say there's bigger things at stake. We go up another stupid, not at all productive elevator like in Chris's campaign, and then my favorite monster, the Kraken, spawns again. We leave Chris to take care of it, stupid not of respect, and then Sherry's all like, we can't leave them! So Jake yells at her like,
but they're gonna get killed!
Then that's their choice!
Then he kinda goes off topic saying, oh, I'm not my father, I'm saving the planet. Then Sherry's all like, you're right, let's go! Which makes no sense to me. So she kinda just forgets about Chris and leaves because Jake isn't Wesker. Yeah, like that makes sense. The next area that we enter is either the center of the earth or a very deep volcano because remember, we're deep in the ocean. And I'm talking Bioshock Rapture type of under the ocean. So I can't really tell where exactly we are. It's almost like Capcom said, no, we need lava, and then just threw it in the fucking game. And then guess who follows us into the lava pit of doom? Mr. I don't have dental insurance. But this time he says, I came in like a wrecking ball. So we run away for now. We keep running until we land in this random plot of land. Sherry shocks him. Wait, what? And Jake literally rips off his arm, which is wild to me. Mr. Can't Wear Glasses throws us, and I have a great question. And we don't land in the lava, how? Then Jake decides to fight hand to hand. So I guess this thing is bulletproof but not fisting proof. But for some reason I'm actually kind of enjoying this part. We hit him with a fucking 10-piece until the cutscene shows us Superman punch him into the lava. Then something lands on top of him and I'm guessing it was flammable because it explodes. And then we leave the area. We get on this tram-like thing that looks like what they had in Godzilla vs. King Kong, but it's going so incredibly fast.
Today a man tell Gustav I cannot ride fast, but I can ride very fast.
Question is, can you ride fast?
Fuck you!
But apparently there's a second tram following us and guess who's on it? That's right, this fucking guy. He's over here yelling,
what the fuck did you say to me?
Then for this boss fight, we literally just have to press right trigger for what seems like a million times. We release some steel pipes at him and he uses his go-go gadget arm to cling on for dear life. And then he somehow, someway shoots his way up to the front. I don't really know how. Then we do the classic Resident Evil one final shot kills the villain thing. Like seriously, I don't know how many times they have done this. Then Jake thanks Sherry for saving him and they have this really cringy lovey-dovey moment that just grosses me out.
Don't be angry, I'm in love!
What?
This is Resident Evil, okay? I want to see zombies and blood and Leon, not fucking Love Island or whatever the fuck this is. Our next cutscene shows Sherry on a plane, and she says that Jake's blood was given to the right hand, so I'm guessing a vaccine was made, and that Jake's relationship to Wesker was basically put on the top secret list. And then Sherry gets a text from Jake saying that he lowered his asking price to $50. And I'm not really too sure what this is supposed to prove. Is Jake trying to show that he has a change of heart or that he's a good guy or something, because he asked for less fucking money? Fuck that, man. If I'm saving the world, I want some money too. What am I gonna do? Save the damn planet and then go back to working my 9 to 5? Like $50 fucking dollars? I just lost $50 sports betting the other day. It's a fucking joke. Shit, I mean, Luigi has done more for me than the government has. Jake rides off on a motorcycle without a helmet. Is he crazy? And that's the end of Jake's campaign. And as always, I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. I've never really liked this game, and I bet you're all now wondering, Cheddar, now that you've beat it again, I bet you feel better about this game, huh? And man, you would lose that bet. I still fucking hate this game. I don't know, you can't just throw in random shit in a game and then slap on the main series Resident Evil 6 on it. Maybe if this was a spin-off game or something like that, it would have been better received. But for them to stray this far from Resident Evil 1 through 3 and a little bit of 4, man, it just blows my mind how no one stopped this at any point in time. I did like the crossplay though when we teamed up with other players throughout the campaign. I thought that was pretty cool and kind of innovative, but the story was meh. The horror, you know, what made Resident Evil, was non-existent. I think I was more afraid of the amount of time I was going to waste on this game more than the actual game itself. But I can tell there are a lot of fans out there for this game, so if you are one of them, comment down below why you like it. Let me know your take. So that's going to be it for me, guys. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time.